Alright, you just finished your hyperburn, you're level 260, and oh my god, you don't know where to train! You want to start farming your 6 job materials, and so today I'm going to show you a bunch of maps that I recommend for Cernium and Burning Cernium. So let's start with the easiest map, which is Rocky Overlook 1, all the way on the bottom left. And this is basically one of the easier maps. You can place your summons on the top right and the top left, and then you, as a Shadower or a Night Lord or whatever class you may be, you're mostly just going to be focusing on the mobs here on the bottom. And so you may be thinking, because someone in my last video for training guides commented, this is unrealistic, you're level 283 and you're showing us how to farm these maps, but realistically, I'm just showing you the concept, right? Your damage may vary and you might have to tweak the rotation a little bit depending on your damage, but as long as your Cruel Stab or Showdown, if your Night Lord is one-shotting here on the bottom, then you're basically going to be good to go. And see how easy this is? Summons on the top left and top right, and you're just cruising along the bottom. And especially since with the New Age update they reduced the mob HP, this is a super efficient way to train with your 2 summons. So let's go ahead and get started with another map for a little bit more of the complex farmers. So if you want to really sweat the rates, this is the map that I trained on, and it's really sweaty, but I'm just going to show you the concept of this rotation. And basically you're going to go in a C shape, and this C shape is going to allow you to full clear the entire map, mostly using Cruel Stab, Trick Blade, Shadow Assault, and I'm going to place my summons on the bottom right, and then my Dark Flare on the top right. And then the hardest part about this map is getting that top platform with your Cruel Stab, because this is actually really high, and so you really have to time your flash jump precisely. But you see how I'm just doing this C shape? So every time the mob spawn, I rotate one of my different skills, right? So Trick Blade for this mob spawn right there, and then I go in the C shape, and then when I need to go back in the C shape, right, I go with Shadow Assault for the next spawn wave. So basically the essence of farming on Shadower is that for each for each mob spawn wave, you're rotating Trick Blade and Shadow Assault. That's how you're going to get an efficient full clear. And then when you want to do your loot rotation / summon replacements, you're going to go ahead and place Shadow Veil, so that way you have some extra time to basically give yourself some leeway to replace your summons, go loot the map, etc, etc. So this is a little bit more for the complex farmers. If you guys would like to see like an in-depth video about this map specifically, let me know, because there's so much more to explain about this map, and I know it's really big. A lot of you could use a little bit more detail. And if you're one of those farmers who's really trying to sweat the rates and you want 17 to 18k kill rate, you gotta be at that map. Okay, my summons are back up, and let's go ahead and take a look at this next map, which is Royal Library Section 5. So that last map we looked at was Fire Spirits 3, all the way on the top right. And then kind of on the top middle right, we have Royal Library Section 5. And this is another one of those easy maps, because look at this. Your Dark Flare is on the top left, pretty much clearing the entire spawn wave over there. Your Meso Explosion projectile should help you out a little bit with the chip damage. And then you have Urda Fountain right here, and that's going to clear that top right. And you can basically just, like Rocky Overlook 1, you're basically just going to go left, right, left, right, left, right. And this is for the people who want to really have a lazy time. Personally, I prefer to sweat the rates, so I'm going to be at Fire Spirits 3 if I'm a Shadower at 260. However, I like lazy rotations sometimes, but if you are the type of person who just wants to take it lazy, you don't care about the rates, this is perfectly a good map. So it shouldn't require too much explanation. You can go ahead and try it out yourself. You don't really need too much Meso Explosion damage. As long as your summons and your Cruel Stab are pretty much doing the entire job, you're good to go. You don't even have to use Trick Blade or Shadow Assault basically for that rotation if you don't want to. Okay, let's go ahead and transition to Burning Cernium, because there are actually more maps that I like in Burning Cernium. And so this is where I trained from 265 to 275, and here's the rotation. I play Shadow Veil right there when I'm going to start my summon replacement cycle. I place Urda Fountain right there on the top right, and then next mob spawn wave I'm going to do Sudden Raid, then go ahead and use that opportunity to put Dark Flare. And then basically, if my Meso Explosion damage is a little low, I'll start here, and then transition in an L shape, and then I go make that L shape back, right? And then I go up, Cruel Stab if I need to. But notice how my Meso Explosion is strong enough to clear those mobs on the top left, If you happen to have strong enough Meso Explosion, then the rotation basically turns into another one of those left-right rotations. But the good thing about this map is that the layout is compact enough, but it has a lot of mob spawn, unlike Rocky Overlook 1 and Royal Library Section 5. And so this map, if you're strong enough, you have the privilege of just going along the bottom, left, right, and this is a 38 mob spawn map, and so that means you're going to be able to get 18k kill rate if you can full clear this map. So that's why I really like Burning Cernium, is because the layouts are a little bit better. However, if you're a little bit on the weak end, then I wouldn't mind training in one of these maps as well. It's basically the same layout, but it's a little bit more compact, so you can work with your summons a little bit better. But I really wouldn't recommend this map since you have Western City Ramparts in Battle 4 at your disposal, but number 1 and number 2 in this little map section is perfectly fine as well. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Eastern City Ramparts 3, which is another really great map. Especially if your summons are doing a really good job of clearing. You can place Dark Flare right there, Urda Fountain right there, and what you can do is just go left, right. And this actually has one more mob than the last map I just showed you. So this has 39 mobs, and so it's going to be easier to get an 18k kill rate here. However, I personally don't really like the layout of this map too much. I'd rather do the other rotation. I don't know why, it's just personal preference. But this is another really easy layout. If you were really used to farming LH6 back in Moonbridge and you kind of want another map that has that similar flair, then this is definitely available for you. So I always find that literally no one is here. It's not too hard to find a map. And so that's what I really like about this map. Ooh, I got a fragment too. Maybe this is the lucky map. Alright, so now that we've took a look at the Eastern City Ramparts, let's also look at another big map, which is Royal Library 3 in Burning Cernium. And this is where I trained a little bit as well on my journey to 275 and 280. And this map is kind of big, but it always has burning because it's not that popular of a map. And so at the start of my rotation, I place Shadow Veil on the bottom left. I place Urda Fountain right there in the top middle. And then what I do is Dark Flare on the top left, and I go in a backward C shape. So it's kind of like Fire Spirits. However, in this map, I had the privilege of relying a little bit more on Meso Explosion. Let me turn off the Rune of Ignition so that way I can show you. Basically, I drop down with Trick Blade on one mob spawn cycle, and then the Meso projectiles from Trick Blade will kill those mobs on the top right. And then what I do, there you go, with Shadow Assault upwards, Trick Blade downwards, Shadow Assault up, Trick Blade down. And you're pressing Meso Explosion after every hit. And so this is a good map because it kind of reminds me of the way I used to farm LH6 before we had Urda Fountain, where I had to go in this L shape if I wanted to full clear. And that's kind of why I like this map. It kind of reminds me of the nostalgia. And then when I go ahead and do my loot cycle, I play Shadow Veil, bottom left, and I kind of do the same thing, but then I have to go really fast to replace my summons. And so during your summon cycle, this is when you kind of use Dark for Sudden Raid. So that way it's a little bit easier for you to clear the mobs. And there you are at the start of your backward C on the bottom left. So that's actually a really complex map. But if you want the rates, this is another 39 mob count rate. So you're going to be able to get 18.5k kill rate here. There's a lot of burning here, and I like it because no one is ever here. Alright, so that's cool and dandy, but let's go ahead and take a look at another easy map. So a lot of these maps, if you have this map, Library 1, this one's pretty easy. I really don't like this layout, but it's small enough if you want to be lazy. And then you have Library 4, which is like always packed, I believe. So, oh, maybe I'm wrong. So anyways, this map is good too because look, it's another one of those maps where you can place summons on either side. So you can do like Urda Fountain right there. You can do Dark Flare up on the top, and again, you're just on the bottom, left to right, left to right, left to right, and your summons have enough coverage to where you just can be really lazy about it. But again, I'd rather get the rates, put in the work for those other maps that I just showed you, but just know that these here are also really good options for those of you who want to be lazy. So those are my preferred maps for Cernium and Burning Cernium, and in the next video I'm actually going to be showing you all of my favorite hotel rotations. So once you get to level 265 you're going to be able to have that resource. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and I hope this was helpful for you. Good luck on the rest of your progress to level 275 and beyond.